Are you ready? I mean, they've probably been ready for about 5 minutes, haven't you? We've not been ready. Sorry about that. Welcome along to the Weather Studio Live. We are live, and that slight delay just proves it. We are broadcasting to you from Met Office HQ in Exeter. I'm Alex Deakin.
Yeah, and I'm the other Alex, Alex Burkill. Yeah, sorry for the delay. It's a bank holiday weekend for many of us. We thought we'd take it easy.
Exactly. Pipe and slippers, haven't we?
Yeah, nothing to do with the fact that I had no graphics to present in front of. But I think they're working now, so fortunately when I go over to the screen in a few minutes' time, I hope to have something to show you. Otherwise, well, we have enough to talk about anyway. We'll always find something to fill, but yeah, it's, well, we'll be talking about the bank holiday weekend for most, worth pointing out, as we have highlighted in a few places that it's not a bank holiday for Scotland, but for England, Wales, Northern Ireland, we will be covering your long weekend. Lots of fine weather.
A lot of fine weather.
Yeah.
Fine is a good term for this weekend.
Yeah.
Can't promise it's going to be sunny. It's going to be a mix of sun and cloud. Cloud's been giving us a few headaches throughout the week. But do send your questions in. Do subscribe, join the throng. You can be a Met Head too. The best way to do that is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So please do that, hit the thumbs up button. But also feed in your comments. We love answering your questions. We're here for the next 3/4 of an hour or so, but if you're watching it not live, I know lots of people can't on a Friday lunchtime, but we still read those comments. So please do put those in the chat and we'll go through. And we've got some questions to answer from last week as well. But before then, what have you been up to this week, Mr. B?
What have I... Oh, actually, it was my son's last day at nursery today.
Oh, today?
Today.
Oh, emotion.
Yeah, it was quite emotional, so I dropped him off. He was actually a bit sad. I discussed it with him last night at dinner, and he actually started crying because he loves his best friends there, and they're going to different schools. So that's that. But what
big
else?
School to look forward to.
Yeah, big school, big primary school. So yeah, lots of things exciting. What else weather-wise? I mean, this week's kept us on our toes because we've been looking out to what's happening with Erin.
Yes.
So that's the big talking point weather-wise. Not for the UK so much now. It's looking less impactful for the UK's point of view.
But it's still tweaking our weather, isn't it?
It's still
affecting our weather.
Still going to influence us, but it's caused some problems across the other side of the Atlantic. I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, that's been the main thing.
Yes.
What have you been up to?
Thanks for the comments about the thumbnail, by the way. Rich next door, who was on the questions today, he was responsible for that thumbnail. So if you liked it, it's all down to Rich.
Erin Brockovich was actually there.
Yeah,
It may look like it was an edited image, but no, she came over.
We had a chat with Julie Roberts, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Just hung out for a couple of hours. What have I been at? So I've been busy. I've been on all week. So yeah, Aidan did a deep dive, talked a bit about Erin, and then I was on the 10-day trend, which obviously then more about Erin and how that could influence the UK weather next week. Still a lot of uncertainty about it. As is often the case. It's a tropical system. It's got a lot of energy. It's doing funky things. The models don't necessarily handle them all well. So it's been interesting to see how that has been panned out. What's happened through this week and how it will pan out into next week. And you'll have more on that in a moment, won't you?
I will. Fair to say there's still some uncertainty about how it's going to pan out. But hopefully we can get a better idea of what it means.
Yes. One thing that went out, not this week, the week before, climate conversations.
Yes, I mentioned it briefly in last week's live, but we did want to highlight it again. It was a lovely chance for me to go to Exeter University, meet up with lots of climate scientists and talk about the fact that communicating climate change and the information behind it is really difficult and really important. And one of the biggest take-homes that I took from that event was lots of people want to act on climate change, but are perhaps a little reluctant at times just because it's a bit inconvenient. Whereas if you can provide a more immediate benefit for making changes, maybe it's better health, so cycling more is better for your health, or it saves you money, then people are more likely to act. So I think that's something that going forward, when it comes to trying to promote actions that people can take from a climate change point of view, encouraging, introducing and exploring other ways that it will benefit people more directly and quicker, that's something that we can help to make those changes. But here's a little clip from last week's climate conversations just to give you a taster of what is discussed.
In this show, we're tapping into the expertise of climate scientists and leaders and understanding more about the art of climate communication. The Exeter Climate Forum 2025 convened earlier this summer. Their mission: to connect and inspire bold ideas and approaches that will resonate into the heart of global climate action. Leading voices from science, policy, media and business came together, injecting expertise and clarity into shaping priorities for the upcoming COP30 and beyond. Alex Burkle attended the forum and spoke with climate experts, focusing on how climate communication can translate to meaningful climate progress.
I saw you watching. You were watching intently.
I was watching intently. I knew Greg was recording me watching intently, so I
always knows when the camera's on.
had to watch even more intently than I would have done otherwise. But yeah, that was a really good day, and I hope you enjoyed Climate Conversations. Do check it out.
Yes, that's available on our YouTube channel, along with lots of other fun stuff. You've been sending in your questions. Keep them coming in during the live. We do love reading them. We'll be going through some of them. A couple from last week's, which caught our attention. Darian Gower 3410. Where is Alex these days?
Well, seeing that I was here, we're doing the Weather Studio Live, I'm guessing they're talking about you. So where are you?
Darian was missing me. Well, never one to let anyone down. We've doubled down on Alex's this week. We've got double Alex. So hopefully you're happier now.
I quite like that when it came up saying, where is Alex these days? And then hello.
Hello. There's two of us this week. Mad for Tar 77. Does the jet stream being fired up mean it's here to stay for the rest of the year? How long does it stay in place like it will be next week? That's a good question.
Well, that is a good question. And you're right, the jet stream is going to be across us, pushing in as we go through next week. And to be honest, as we go into the start of meteorological autumn, it does look like the 14-day outlook that I've just been looking into, it's going to be quite unsettled. A very different story to what we've had through much of summer, really. So a real change in time for the end of the school holidays, the beginning of autumn, like I say. In terms of, does it necessarily mean that that's stuck in its way for the rest of the year? No, not at all. The jet stream fluctuates, it changes its pattern. And in fact, I'll show you this in a second when I come on to Erin, but various deep areas of low pressure, such as what is currently Hurricane Erin, they're influenced by the jet stream, but they also influence the jet stream. It works both ways. So depending on what happens with various tropical features developing, there are a couple that are being watched out in the Atlantic at the moment. So depending on what happens with those will play a big role in what the jet stream does. So just because next week and probably the week after we have quite an active jet doesn't mean that the whole of autumn is going to be like that.
No, good question though, and yeah, that was from the deep dive, and Aidan talked quite a lot about how Erin is influencing. It was really quite interesting to see how the temperatures up through the atmosphere rising because of Erin in that little spot, and that then increases the gradient, which creates the jet stream. But then Erin itself crosses the jet stream because it draws down colder air. It's a very fluid system. We often talk about the jet stream controlling things at the surface, but actually it's a big dynamical system, three-dimensional. So one thing influences the other, and vice versa. So another question from Aidan's deep dive. Well, not really a question. Peach, but kind of linked to what you talked about. Peach Shellwalls, some numbers. Last week of summer is around September the 21st, not next week. Well, Peter, it entirely depends on how you define summer. You're entitled to define summer however you want, and lots of people do define summer as changing around about the 21st of September, which is, of course, around the equinox. But for us meteorologists, meteorologically speaking, climatologically speaking, we measure the seasons in 3-month chunks, which means for us, the end of summer is the end of August. So you don't have to go along with us. That's just what we do, because it makes it easier statistically.
We're just quite impatient, so we don't want to wait 3 extra weeks. Yeah. We claim it's to do with making climate studies and our records more consistent, but no, we're just impatient.
Just impatient for autumn.
Just impatient.
Are we? So, I didn't know that. That's good. But one of the things, if you do it with the equinox, then the equinox shifts. Yeah. That's problematic. Sometimes it's the 20th of September, it can be the 22nd of September. So if you do it by the equinox, it doesn't work. But as I say, you can measure summer however you want. That's just what we do.
And I think this year is quite a prime example that autumn really starts in September. Even the end of August is looking quite autumnal. in a way with our weather, with the wet and windy spells that
but
we're
then
going to be getting.
September can still have a lot of fine sunny. You know, we can get quite warm spells during summer, can't we? During September, quite often.
Late
Summer
we can.
warmth.
Yeah, it's a
Should be a video on that coming soon.
There is a video on late summer warmth coming up.
Coming soon.
I had great fun filming that one because I took us to the beach and we got ice cream as well, which was nice. Yeah. It was all part of the story.
Was it?
For the filming. It was essential.
I'm not approving that expenses claim. More questions from the deep dive. Debbie Evans, again, not really a question, more of a statement. No, it is a question. 4483. Does anyone still believe the Met Office?
I think so.
Debbie? Well, let's hope so.
In fact, our approval ratings, that's not the right term, our, I can't remember the term, the belief in us.
Ratings. That's what it's called.
Belief rating. Faith? Confidence? We'll go with confidence, but that's not the term.
Not
you know the one I'm looking for.
I do. Yeah.
It is pretty high.
Trust scores.
Trust scores, yes. They're high.
Dropping rapidly with people watching this.
So there are instances where the weather is going to be difficult to forecast, and there are times where things haven't quite gone to plan. Just this summer, we've had some instances, a thunderstorm warning a few months ago being an example. But there are many, many times we do get it spot on. And you've always got to look at the bigger picture. And it is difficult when you're on the ground and looking at an individual event and you're saying, you're hearing us talk about the risk of showers or the thundery showers around, and then you don't see any, and you may be disappointed for whatever reason. But by their nature, they're hit and miss. And in the grand scheme of things, there could be showers nearby. It was just you missed them. And so minor detail on the ground, which impacts you, may make you think that the forecast hasn't gone necessarily to plan, but actually in the bigger scale of things, our forecasts are very accurate.
Kathy Squire's backing us up. Met Office, the best. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah,
Thank you for all the love. Thank you for all the follows. Thank you for all the likes. We do really appreciate it. I know some people, question us, and we don't always get it right, but we do try our best, and we do appreciate all of your lovely comments. We do read them. We get lots of nice ones, particularly around the deep dive and stuff like that. One more question from the deep dive, or two more questions from the deep dive, but relating to the same thing. 1987, Michael Fish forecasting said we wouldn't get a hurricane. He was right because the sea temperatures are never 26 degrees. So it couldn't have been a hurricane. I assume we've never seen temperatures high enough for a hurricane around the UK, sea surface temperatures, which is right. But another question from Nigel Clifford. Why does the sea temperature have to be at least 26 degrees for there to be a formation of a tropical cyclone? What happens at that temperature? Well,
you need the warmth of the sea for the air or the water around the seas to evaporate up, and then when it evaporates up and it lifts up, it then condenses out, and it's that process that releases energy, and it's that energy that you need in order for the hurricane to form or to maintain its oomph as it comes across the Atlantic. So 26 seems quite a random number, but we didn't get
the way the mechanics
exactly
work.
We didn't get to pick it, so that's just the way it is. So we need enough energy, enough warmth in order for that energy to go up into the air and then keep the momentum going. So,
and that seems to be the key temperature when you monitor. They very rarely form anything lower than that. So that's the kind of cutoff for formation. But they need a lot of other things to be right, don't they? The wind shear above them to be in the right favourable positions. Right, lots of questions coming in, but we've got to get on, I guess, haven't we?
Yeah, we already started 5 minutes late.
Yeah, so we need to get a move. We've got a quiz coming up, which is it's a big one this week because it's kind of got a bonus. So it's almost out of 10 this week, and it's picture based.
So I could
Fingers
get 5.
crossed. You could get We're there's a hardcore 5 and then like a bonus 5. So we'll do the actual scores on the hardcore 5. But yeah, keep your questions coming in. Callum, will Hurricane Erin be called Erin? You'll have more on that in a moment as well. And questions about summer stats, we'll have more on that next week probably. So yeah, it has been a very dry
I'll touch on it a little bit.
Oh, why are you going to touch on it a little bit? Have you been given
bit.
permission to talk about the summer stats? Have you?
A little. I'm not allowed to go into details.
But first of all, let's look at the bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it isn't a bank holiday in Scotland, but it is a bank holiday in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. And people could be on holiday in Scotland for the bank holidays because it's not officially a bank holiday in Scotland. So Let's have a look. Has the data come in? That map on the right looks a bit interesting. Is the data in? This is why we were running late, because the data wasn't in.
We have wind data.
Oh, okay. Is that all we've got? Oh no!
Could you?
You keep filling. What do you need me
cool.
to do?
So I'm going to talk about something else before. Let's go on to the summer stats. So
Yes.
we've talked about, so I have a couple of charts here. Let's actually look at rainfall originally. So this is rainfall so far through the summer. And I found this slightly interesting because up until, well, throughout this year, rainfall has been remarkably low. Not quite record-breakingly low, but it has been very low. But actually, if you look at summer as a whole, rainfall amounts have been pretty average through the summer months, which surprised me a little bit. Recent weeks have actually been drier than average. Now, this wasn't quite what I was expecting. Worth bearing in mind that we do have some unsettled weather coming up as we go through next week. So I would imagine that things are going to turn, so this line's going to go up closer to the average by the time that we get to the end of the month. And then, Alex, we might need to reset the data. So you might need to get rid of this temporarily.
You want me to get rid of what?
Yeah, so if you come out of touchscreen mode and then do the green data refresh button.
Yeah, let's do that.
We should hopefully get some data. But meanwhile, summer stats. So we released a blog, I think, or a news release earlier on this week talking about the fact that summer 2025 is on course to be one of, if not the warmest on record. Very close. I've talked about it in some previous deep dives, just how close we are to getting to be that record. And in fact, we needed temperatures to be around or a little bit below average through the end of August for us not to have the warmest summer on record. But a little look at our temperature forecast as we go through the next 2 weeks. And here I have our ECMWF meteograms for 2 locations. I've picked Glasgow at the top and Oxford at the bottom, just a north and south location. I'm heading to Oxford this weekend. And what you can see is temperatures are actually rising as we go through this weekend. So they're going to be a little bit above average on both Sunday, Monday, and perhaps even into Tuesday. Tuesday's looking still quite warm as we go through, particularly towards the south and the further east you are. And then temperatures dropping, but yeah, they may be a little bit below average, but not really too far off. And actually, on the whole, kind of average through at least to the end of August. It's kind of around early September, really, that temperatures look like they might just about dip a little bit below average. So we're holding on to that warmth. So yeah, strong signs that it could be the warmest summer on record. We will update you about that next Tuesday. We're going to issue another blog or press release, and then obviously we'll have the final stats when it comes to the very end of the month. So they'll come out on Monday the 1st, which is also the same day that we're releasing our storm names. So that's interesting, which I'm looking forward to finding out more about all the storm names.
Yes, storm names are released on the 1st of September because that, as we already discussed, is the first of autumn. For us, the first day of autumn, we get more stormy weather in autumn than not. So yes, the storm names will be released a week on Monday. So that's exciting. There'll be a few posts around that in our TikTok channel. We've already posted about it, and there'll be a few more coming up next week as well. So make sure you're following us on TikTok. Lots of chat about Erin. Callum, as I said, will Hurricane Erin be called Erin? Which, well, yeah.
Yeah, let's start off. Then let's look at Erin, actually. So, right, a couple of things. What do I want to get up? So, let's look at Erin and how it's likely to influence our weather and what it's likely to do as it comes across the Atlantic. So here I have the jet stream. And here I have Erin, this low pressure here, and you can see the various forecast tracks. And if we just run this through, then the Met Office model is the one that we see with the L highlighting it. But then the other various model runs, the various possible forecast tracks, you can see the various spread. And they all have very good agreement that whilst at the moment it's a hurricane, category 2, I believe, and it's brought some pretty very unsettled weather to the Outer Banks, for example. I think New Jersey's in a state of emergency at the moment, and actually, if you looked at the feature, the storm itself, so about twice the size of a typical tropical storm. So it's a really big feature. No wonder it's caused some problems. It caused problems in the Caribbean, but fortunately, it hasn't actually made landfall. So it could have been significantly worse. But back to the track, and as it pushes through, now there was a question, I believe, about whether it's going to go from the right entrance to left exit. And you're right, when that happens, that's when you get your deeper lows. But there are some questions as to exactly what it's going to do. We touched on this earlier about the influence of chicken and egg in terms of jet stream and tropical depressions. But nonetheless, as it comes across the Atlantic, it's going to go through its extratropical transition, so it's no longer going to be a hurricane. There are some model runs that want it to keep its hurricane status a little bit further on into the Atlantic, but it looks like it will probably be around Sunday time that it loses its status, maybe even a little bit earlier. And then it comes towards us, and if we just pay attention to what it's most likely to do in relation to the jet, and you can see it's most likely to stay on the left side. In fact, there's a reasonable chance that it will kind of push the jet a little bit further south because of the momentum from it. And so that's quite interesting. What then happens, a double then, you're welcome. What then happens is it's quite likely now to head northwards up towards Iceland. And so some model tracks do still bring it closer towards the UK, but the most likely setup now is for it to wrap around and go up further north. Now, that's actually quite interesting because the Google DeepMind model was indicating a path like this a few days ago. Meanwhile, most of the other models were hinting that it would come closer to the UK. So interesting that more model runs are now coming in line with that instead. What that means for the UK, well, it means that we're less likely to see the most unsettled weather that we could have had as a result of what is currently Erin and what would become ex-Erin. Just to answer the question of would it become Storm Erin? Well, yes, but it won't be. If this comes off, we're unlikely to see enough unsettled weather that it would warrant naming it, warrant it being a storm at all. But if it was a feature that had already been named by the NHC, then we would maintain that name. So we wouldn't go to Gerben, we would go to Erin instead. The same that we talked about when, was it Dexter? That was the previous one, when there was the potential for Dexter to impact the UK. It's the same idea. If it already has a name, whether it's from our friends in America or our friends in any of the other storm naming systems across Europe, then we keep that name. But what it means for the UK is the most likely track is that it will go up northwards towards Iceland as we go towards the middle of next week. That doesn't mean that things are going to stay dry for the UK, not at all. In fact, whilst the weekend is looking pretty fine, if I just dart back, whilst Bank Holiday Monday is looking pretty fine, and actually the influence of Erin is going to lead to the high pressure clinging on and some pretty warm air pushing across us. Not exceptionally warm, it's not going to be super hot like we've seen in the heat waves that we've had earlier on this summer, but nonetheless temperatures rising as we go through the long weekend. But then we do start to feel the influence of Erin as we go through towards the middle part of next week. And it looks like there's going to be a band of rain coming through Tuesday and perhaps into Wednesday. And then Wednesday itself more widely looks like perhaps a slightly wetter day. So some wetter, perhaps windy weather coming through as a result of Erin, but with the low itself actually quite far towards the northwest of the UK, much closer to Iceland. It doesn't look like it'll be exceptionally unsettled. Thereafter, this pattern of various low pressure systems, quite a mobile setup, features coming in from the west, looks like this is what we're going to be left with for a little while yet, really, as we go through the end of August and into the beginning of September. So quite an autumnal end to summer and an autumnal start to autumn as well.
Really interesting stuff, Alex. Thank you very much. We've talked a lot about Erin even in last week's live. We started talking about it, and then, as I said, Aidan did a lot in the deep dive. A few people asking about the Google DeepMind model, which is really interesting. Daniel Flynn, what is the Google DeepMind model? Didn't know Google had a weather model. And JT says, I'd love a video on how all the data is modelled through the various AI models. Seems so fascinating. So watch this space, I think, is on that, because Aidan is working on a really interesting AI explainer. So we'll have more on that coming. Make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube channel, and then we'll be posting something on that probably next month. I think that's when it's scheduled to go out. So yeah, but that DeepMind model is quite interesting because instead of the spread that we have with our ensembles, it was every single one of the ensemble, which isn't necessarily that useful. So I think it's a developing situation, isn't it? It's not. I mean, it may well be right in this sense this time round, but it's not that useful if it's right, or it's definitely going there, because it wasn't. Some of the models were taking it down across the Azores.
Yeah, and just one instance where it's right isn't necessarily mean that we should always follow it. But it's another model that we can use as guidance, and so that's good. I would love to do, in a deep dive, a real in-depth look at the pros, the cons, the benefits of various different models, and why we look at all of them when, for the UK, some are more reliable than others, but it's always worth factoring them in. That's something that we often get asked about, because we mention all the different models and people are like, well, which one's best? Why don't you just pick that one? And I think it's fair to say no individual model is always best, but there are ones that we take with a bigger amount of bigger amount of salt than others. Yeah.
And some are better into some situations as well as that, and that's what the experts do here. That's what the chief meteorologists do here at the Met Office. They understand the vagaries of the different models, and that's why that's why you can generate better forecasts, by looking at them, knowing the weaknesses in certain situations of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that would be an interesting deep dive. And as I say, we'll have more certainly on AI and the way it's impacting weather modelling coming soon. I've seen some clips from that video with Aidan. It looks quite funny. Rich, who's on Questions Next Door, he's in charge of that. He's making some really good graphics for it. Barry Ellis, will you do a QBO deep dive again?
Oh, wow, quasi-biennial oscillation. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I think you're going to do that in 2 weeks' time, aren't you?
Am I? No, we've got a video coming out on global drivers.
Oh, of course we do.
Which is coming soon, potentially within the next week or so. So again, watch this space, make sure you subscribe. Probably not in a deep dive, but we are making a video about global drivers, of which the QBO is one. Gordy wants to know the Malvern Classic this weekend. Is it going to be dry?
The Malvern
Hills,
Classic.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. So through this weekend, it's fair to say, I've covered it briefly, mentioning that high pressure's building, but there's going to be a lot of fine, dry weather around. If I just run it through, I don't know why that's not running. But so as we go through the end of today, a few showery bursts here and there across some parts of northern England, maybe Wales and the Midlands. But on the whole, a lot of dry weather around, a lot of fine weather. Then into tomorrow, again, a lot of fine weather for many. It's a case of chasing the cloud. And that's important because whether it's cloudy or sunny plays a role in how the weather feels, but also it's going to play a big role in our temperatures both by day and by night. Where the cloud clears overnight, it's going to turn quite chilly, and where the cloud clears by day, it's going to be pleasantly warm. Then through Saturday, it's perhaps a bit more showery rain pushing across parts of Northern Ireland and some western parts of England, Wales and Scotland too, but actually most places staying dry. So for the Malvern Hills or the Malvern Festival, actually looking pretty decent. And similar story really as we go through Sunday into Monday, in as much as with the high pressure gradually drifting away towards the east, there's a greater chance of seeing some wetter weather towards the north and west. And you can't rule out a few showery bursts anywhere really, but on the whole, it's looking largely dry. And actually things will turn increasingly sunny as we go through the long weekend. Obviously behind me now it's an overnight chart, so it won't be sunny then. But during the days are going to be increasingly sunny, and as I showed earlier, we do have that warmer air being dragged in because of Erin. Erin's over there somewhere. Then we are going to see temperatures rising. So Monday looks like the warmest day for many. So for the Malvern Festival, not looking too bad at all. Can't guarantee it'll be totally dry, but largely dry, and even some decent sunshine breaking through at times.
Hugo Della Fera, will autumn be more wet or just the autumn average? Thanks for the question, Hugo. Too early to say. Just like when we were in spring and people ask us about the summer, it's too early to say. But what are the early signs for autumn?
Well, the early signs are for some unsettled weather. It's worth bearing in mind when it comes to the unsettled weather that we're going to see as we go through next week and deeper into autumn as well. There are no strong signs at the moment for anything particularly hazardous, and there are no strong signs for a deep area of low pressure. Now, when you look more than a week or so ahead, you need to be aware that we could see that changing. So there could be something developing, but there are no strong signs for anything particularly unsettled that coming through. Also worth bearing in mind that we could end up in kind of two sorts of patterns. most likely is we're going to have quite a mobile pattern. So the weather keeps changing, so we see systems coming through and pushing it through. Like we've discussed already, the jet stream is going to be quite active, so that's going to move things through. So what that means is, yes, we'll have some wetter spells, but we'll also have some drier periods. And any individual place unlikely to see the rain lasting for days or like several hours, that kind of thing. However, if various tropical depressions develop, they can lead to the jet stream buckling. And if that happens, then actually things could stall. And so whilst a mobile westerly pattern looks most likely, we could end up with any systems coming across the UK taking a little bit longer. And so that's when we could start to see some rainfall totals building up. So at the moment, I think an average start to autumn looks pretty likely, perhaps ever so slightly wetter than average to start, but when you average it out, it'll probably be near normal. Nothing outstanding at the moment, but we do need to factor in that we could see a couple of systems just loitering over us, and if that happens, then that's when we see some wetter weather and totals building up.
Loads of really great questions coming in, but we do have to move on. One quick one. Rube Dog, will forecasters be replaced by AI?
No.
Can't replace us because they can't do the quiz, can they? They can't do the quiz. It's quiz time. Right, welcome to the quiz. It's a goodie this week, I think.
Is it?
Well, I would say that, wouldn't I? We've got pictures.
Great.
When a picture's
love a picture
ever bad.
around.
So if you've not played the quiz before, we have 5 questions, multi-choice, and Alex will give his answers to me via the laptop. We want you to answer. You can do it either in the chat, but we'll also put the polls up, or try to. There's been a few gremlins in the system, so it might not work particularly well today, but let's give it a go. It's the bank holiday weekend for most places, not in Scotland, but lots of things going on this weekend. Because it's the bank holiday, lots of festivals, lots of outdoor events. So that's the theme. I want you to identify from these pictures where they are, and there's an event attached to them.
And this is weather related.
Well, there's also in the picture some clouds that I want you to identify. So that's the bonus part. So you could get out of 10. You could be out of 10 here.
You could get a 10 out of 10.
You could get a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
So question 1 is coming up. Hopefully picture 1. Richie's going to be on it.
Pictures don't work. You have to describe it.
Yeah, no, Richie's on it. Of course he's on it. He's on fire. So, where is that? Notice I scrubbed out.
Scrubbed out the name?
Discreetly at the top there. Where is that? And the options are, he says, desperately
there are
seeking the
options.
Yeah,
Good.
you've got multi-choice.
Good,
I wouldn't leave you
good.
to do that.
I think I know though.
Oh, do you? Okay, well, put your answer in before you know.
Okay.
The options are A, Leeds, B, Portsmouth, C, Belfast, D, Reading.
Do Portsmouth and Belfast have festivals?
Well, that's up to you
Okay. I think I know this because I'm pretty sure Reading's colours are red, and Leeds is yellow, isn't it?
I'm not giving you any clues. You've already put your answer
and
in.
I don't know of a Portsmouth and Belfast festival.
Is this?
And it's Reading this weekend, so I think it's Reading.
Also, you need to identify the cloud. I just want the basics, from the basic 10 types of cloud that there are. So you don't need to give me any kind of
can
genus.
I see the picture?
Just the basic type of cloud. What type of cloud is that?
Stratocumulus. Am I meant to say my answers now or later?
You're not meant to say your answers because people will be able to hear them.
Okay.
You're meant to type your answers. That's what you're meant to do. It's going really well this week, isn't it? Don't you think?
I didn't say anything.
Right. Martin G has said Leeds Festival. Ooh, Martin. Wow. Question 2. We ready for question 2? Let's go question 2, because otherwise we'll be here all day. Picture 2. Oh, he's gone all funky. He's covered your head up. Look at that. Oh, he's gone picture in picture. There we go. Thanks, Rich.
Okay, I think... is this a festival? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's loads of people there.
There is a festival going on, and I need you to answer. Where's Where's the festival at? Is it A, Glasgow, B, Portsmouth, C, Belfast, D, London? So
Wait.
none of the you have to put down none of the answers.
Wait,
It's
what?
it's something going on this weekend.
Oh, can
The
I see
one you've answered,
okay.
Boardmasters, happened about a month ago. So it's not Boardmasters.
Okay, we'll do that one.
Glasgow, Portsmouth,
Can I see the
Belfast,
picture
or
again?
London.
Well, that's not London, is it? But unless,
whoa,
unless
it's just-
climate changes. Is that London? No, surely not. Wait, say the options again.
Glasgow, Portsmouth, Belfast, London.
Guess it's
Glasgow, Portsmouth, Belfast, London.
You sure? Okay, fine.
And you need to identify that cloud.
Can I see it?
Yeah, I thought I'd circled it, but maybe I didn't update the So I think Rich has got the update. So there's a circle. In fact, that cloud there, the kind of stuff that's going over the top of the water. That's the cloud I want you to identify.
Okay.
Maybe we've made this too complicated. Maybe I've made this too complicated. Right, but I was feeling it wasn't weather related if we just did the festivals. This is an easy one. Number 3, dead easy. Number 3, where is this? A, Glasgow, B, Portsmouth, C, Belfast, D, London.
Oh, I see. I'm with you.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes.
So
it's not specific. I could have been more specific, but I want to keep it as cities. So is it Glasgow, Portsmouth, Belfast, or London?
Oh,
You
and
put
do I
your
have to do
answer
the
in,
cloud?
and I need that cloud, please. Yes. What type of cloud is that, everyone? Keep your guesses coming in on the chat. Trainmaster Gaming says London. Liam Parker says rain cloud. I need to be a bit more specific than that, Liam. Gordy B stratocumulus. Small cloud. Yes, it is quite a small cloud. Londinium.
do you know
Rube
which
dog.
question they're answering? when
No,
you
I
say-
don't for that.
Yeah.
But they know, right?
Yeah.
They can mark your own. For the bonuses, you can mark your own. Mark your own work. It's more about the locations. That's what I'm interested in. That's what it's all about. Festival weekend. What's going on? Where is that? And what type of cloud is that? So that was question 3. They are going to get a little harder now.
Okay.
Number 4 is coming up. Where is this? Yeah. Where is that?
Mercat Cross.
I've scrubbed out all the clues. Is it A, Glasgow, B, Edinburgh, C, Belfast, D, Cardiff? Glasgow, Edinburgh, Belfast, or Cardiff? And I want you to name that patch of cloud that's highest in the sky.
Oh,
or
that's a
highest on
clue.
the picture. It is a bit of a clue, yeah.
I've spelt it wrong. But I
You
think-
have spelled it wrong. There's a new type of cloud.
I think you get one.
Wow, glad you can't see what Alex has written. Absolutely outrageous. Is that Glasgow, Edinburgh, Belfast, or Cardiff? That was question 4. Identify that little pocket of cloud that's at the top of the screen. Right, it's almost there, thankfully. Question 5. What is going on here? Which festival/event happening this weekend is going on here? There's a big clue with a sign.
I mean, it's a big sign, but
It is a big
it
sign.
a clue?
Is it A, Ballycastle, B, Ballypatrick, C, Ballymoney, or D, Ballymena? Which of the Ballys is it? Now, I mentioned this yesterday. If you'd been paying attention.
To me?
Yeah.
When did you mention it?
First thing yesterday morning, I said that there was a big event going on here. Ballycastle, Ballypatrick, Ballymoney, Ballymena. Yeah, right. And name that cloud. Name that cloud.
Can I see the picture again for the cloud, please, Greg? Okay.
I think Richie's on the pictures. It might be Greg.
Sorry.
I don't know who's. Anyway, they're both doing a
right.
great job because we're kind of bumbling through this.
Okay, I've got the cloud.
Right, you've got the cloud.
Uh,
What about the event? Oh my goodness, it's already 1 o'clock. I know
Okay.
we were a bit late starting, but we
Okay,
need to.
right, I've done
Got
my
all your
answers.
answers. Fantastic.
But my typing is great.
It's okay. It's okay. Right, so let's go through the answers.
Okay.
1, spot on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Reading.
Yeah, Reading is red. I think Leeds is blue. Is yellow. You were
Yeah.
right. So that is Reading Festival.
And Stratocumulus.
Stratocumulus. I think that's spot on. Yes.
Great.
So Reading, Stratocumulus. You are 2 from 2. Question 2, picture 2.
I was unsure, but I went Portsmouth.
You went
'cause
Portsmouth.
Coastal.
Yeah, and it is Portsmouth. There's a
Yeah.
big festival in Portsmouth.
Oh, I never knew.
Victoria.
Victoria.
Yes, it's happening this
I
weekend.
should know that. My niece and nephew go all the time.
Ah, well, there you go. Victorious Festival is on this weekend in Portsmouth. So well done.
And is there a bit of CB, cumulonimbus? in the
I
background?
think it's just cumulus. It was just the bit at the front, not the. Yeah, it was that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So cumulus, I put for that, but
Fair
there probably is a CB around there. It looks a bit threatening, doesn't it? Question 3.
That's London. That's Notting Hill.
It is Notting Hill Carnival taking place this weekend.
How's it out this weekend?
Yes, always bank holiday weekend.
It's very busy, isn't it, this weekend?
It is really busy. Well, you've got a 3-day festival going on, 3-day weekend going on.
Yeah.
You need to fill it with stuff. So yes, Notting Hill Carnival this weekend. You put cumulus for that. That is, I concur. That is a bit of cumulus in the background. So well done if you put cumulus for that. What type of cumulus? Fractus. I didn't go that specific, did we? 4.
I said Edinburgh
And you're right.
because it's the Fringe.
It's the Fringe.
Festival.
The Fringe is ongoing through this weekend. So even though it's not a bank holiday in Scotland, there will be lots of people out and about in the streets of Edinburgh because the Fringe continues. Now, what did you put off the cloud?
I meant to put cirrocumulus, but I may have written cirromucus.
Cirromucus. Yeah, I think it might be altocumulus. It's hard. I think it's a
quite
bit
so high.
big, but
Okay.
I was going to accept cirrocumulus. I will accept cirrocumulus. I think it's probably altocumulus. I think they look a little bit big. Those. I don't
Okay.
think it's that, but that's me. And question 5. Dulse. Have you ever tried dulse?
Don't
Do you know what
it
dulse?
is.
Oh, you don't know what dulse? It's dried seaweed.
Oh, okay.
A good friend
Like
of
you get
mine
from the
in
Chinese?
Northern Ireland. No, it's not as nice as that. It's not. It's I don't like it. Sorry. I have a big joke with my friend from Belfast about dulse. It's interesting taste, an acquired taste, I think, not to my palate. It's very salty. Tastes a bit like
Okay.
salty paper. But that was the Old Lammas Festival Fair. Sorry, the Old Lammas Fair, which is taking place in Ballycastle.
Oh, I got that one wrong.
You got that one wrong.
I knew it was one of the Bally's.
Yes. So that's in Ballycastle this weekend. Cirrostratus, yeah. I think it's cirrus. I think it's like fibrous top. It looks almost like a fibrous top from an old CB.
That's why I was wondering if there's an anvil there.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought. But we haven't actually got any proper obs. I think So I would take cirrus. I'll take a CB and okay, cirrostratus probably okay. So you got 4 out of 5 on the actual quiz.
And 3-ish.
3 to 5 on the clouds.
Yeah.
But again, they're open to interpretations.
How did you do? Did you get 10 out of 10? Well done. Well done, if you did.
Yes,
But
very
don't worry.
well done.
Oh, 5 out
I'm
of 5,
going-
1 out of 5 on the pictures.
Yeah, let us know what score you got. Reese Haywood, 5 out of 5 on the pictures, 1 out of 5 on the clouds. Well done, Reese. It was all about the pictures, really. That was the actual part of the
Llewellyn
quiz.
Howells got 8 out of 10. Well done.
That
Good
is
work.
a good score. 80%.
Yeah.
Very good score. Very impressive scoring. Well done. Yeah, let us know how you did. Let us know if you've got any questions, queries about anything that we have covered. Keep them coming in. There will be another live next week when we will be...
On time.
on time. B, talking a little bit more about the stats, those summer stats. There's been a lot of chat about the stats. They are going to be very interesting. Currently running very warm indeed for summer. So we'll have more on those next week.
I think it's Honor and me next week, so that'll be fun.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've Wait, has it been a while since I've been joined by Honor? Yeah, I think so.
Been a while. She's
She's been off gallivanting around, doing various fun things, but it'd be nice to have her back.
So hit subscribe, hit the like button, and share the love. Let people know that we do this every week and they can interact. They can ask us anything that they want. Also, we're not just on YouTube. We're across all the social media, but we're also on Spotify. Did you know we are on Spotify? So you can watch all our long form videos on Spotify, and it's easy to do. And people like it on there. So that's how you can get on there. You can watch all of our deep dives, our 10-day trends, and you can leave a comment. And people do leave comments, and they do like our Spotify stuff. So follow us on Spotify. There's the evidence. We haven't made it up. People do follow us on there and do like it. The numbers are growing.
Yeah, be more like John. Even if you want to continue watching all of our content on YouTube, you can still follow us on Spotify.
There's no limit. There's no limit to the places you can follow us. Well, it probably is.
Why not watch it on both? YouTube
simultaneously?
Or
a simulcast.
Or one after the other.
Yeah, that is.
These are the options.
These are the myriad options that Met Office provide for you. But in the meantime, as I said, please keep your questions, your queries, your issues coming in, and whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it not live. We'll read your questions. We'll try and answer as many of them in next week's.
Yeah, Wild Limited's asked if we're on Facebook, and yes, we do have a Facebook channel, and we do push out some of our presented content on Facebook as well, but not as much as we're putting out on YouTube. So if you want to stay regularly up to date, then worth
Sometimes
YouTube.
we go live on Facebook.
We do during particularly notable events, storms, heat waves, or extreme heat.
And we go live every Friday on TikTok as well. You're doing that this afternoon?
Yes, I'll be doing that at 3:30. Now my graphics are working properly. It should go very smoothly. So fingers crossed. Yeah, I'll be 3:30 on TikTok. So if you want to talk to me individually with just one Alex, then do join me then.
Right, a few thank yous because it has been a bit hectic today. Well done for you for struggling through without the graphics for a start. Big shout out to Greg and to Rich who've been pressing the buttons and making everything work. So a big thank you to them despite the stresses. And to Rosie who has been helping with the questions. She was struggling to log on, but bless her, she got there and she was been putting some of the questions in here for us. So a big thank you to Greg, to Rich and to Rosie for making this happen today despite a few gremlins.
Now this time last week we said goodbye, Aidan and me, and then the video didn't cut out, but the sound did. So let's hope that it actually fully cuts out this time.
Let's see. High drama. That's it from us. Goodbye.